You're watching DCTV Denton Community Television.
And they tell me, follow your dreams. And they say, do what you want, and money will come.
Hi, I'm Mike Miller, and welcome to the show. My guest today is a performer, musician, children's entertainer, teacher at the college level, has taught as a music teacher at UNT for a number of years, and has her bachelor's and master's from UNT in music. And Polly, I appreciate you being here very much.
Thank you so much.
And you do have quite an amazing background.
Oh, thank you.
You're a teacher, and you put books together, you do theater events, and
Yes, after I finished my master's here,
Yeah.
I continued to teach part-time here.
yeah,
And then I continued, I got got more experience teaching children. I got a sort of a degree in what's called Child Bloom. It's a method for kids. And so I was able to start my own studio as well as continue teaching here.
How long have you been doing that?
I started that in '86.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And now I have 2 instructors that work with me as well. So
Really?
we have quite a number of students. And that kind of enables me to have some time free during the day to still practice so that I can still pursue performing, which I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. You performed at the Jazz Fest this weekend?
I did. My band performed, and then I think I had about 65 of my students play also.
Oh, really?
And then tonight I'm playing at Dan's Silverleaf for the happy hour.
That's great.
Yeah.
I was watching some of those videos that were filmed at Dan's, the Valentine's song, the piggy rap, things like that.
I didn't really even experiment with songwriting until probably about 10 years ago.
Really?
I really enjoy classical music a lot, and I've enjoyed pursuing it. But it was just a medium I hadn't really had much experience with, and I really enjoyed playing in a band setting and
Yeah.
writing and singing.
When you taught, did you mainly teach classical guitar?
Only classical guitar when
Really?
I taught here, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my degrees are in classical guitar performance, and so all my students were mostly majors. They were all music majors, and many of them guitar majors.
Really? Yeah. Classical guitar goes back several hundred years, I guess.
It does. It does. In fact, we think that the earliest types of guitars date from about 2000 BC.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've actually written a little show about that. We know that because there's cave drawings and paintings on cave walls, so we can tell that people actually did use their fingers to play, but also they had little plectrums, little pieces of wood and so forth that they used to pluck the strings. So
What did they make the strings out of?
mostly guts from animals.
Oh, really?
Whatever animals they could find at the time.
Yeah, those make good strings.
Their tendons, yes. Well, you know, it was the days before nylon.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That was used up until about the 1940s.
Really? I didn't know that.
So we had plastic, we didn't have nylon strings.
Is hair ever used?
I don't know about that.
Really? Yeah.
Probably.
I would have never thought intestines.
Well, I guess we're not sure what archers used for their bows in ancient times, but it was something found.
Yeah.
Something man-made.
That's true.
Usually
yeah.
from animals.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I have a kind of fun show that I do in schools that traces the history of the guitar from that time period to the present. And so I can bring a lute and a little 16th century guitar, a little 10-string guitar.
Really? Yeah.
And a banjo and a modern classical guitar. So the guitar evolved like a lot of other things, a lot of other instruments.
And you put out an album, The 12 Days of Christmas.
I did. I put that out last year. 12 songs, all about Christmas. All original songs. Well, except for Green Sleeves. That's the only song that's not original.
And a lot of noted musicians are on that album.
They are, yes. Jeffrey Barnes plays Santa Claus on it, as well as many, many, many different wind instruments. He's the wind player in Brave Combo. Bubba Hernandez, a Grammy Award-winning bass player, is on it a lot. The notorious Richard Haskins is on there.
So you guys wanted a punk rock song, and he just wrote a new one.
What happened was a friend of mine was slated to do one of the songs. He'd been working on it for some time, and we were really down to the 12th hour or the 12th day, and we really needed to get it pressed, and he just said, I'm not going to be able to do this. So that day I called Richard and said, hey, is there a punk song that has a chorus where people just scream ho, ho, ho? And he said, well, if you buy me lunch and some cigarettes, there will be. So so we wrote it and recorded it that day.
He is highly creative.
Yes.
He's a good entertainer, too.
He is. He's brilliant.
This Child Bloom guitar program, that's something you've really enjoyed doing, and you've been honored with this Master Teacher Award.
I do genuinely enjoy it. I know that a lot of people wouldn't enjoy working with young children, but I really do. And I love beginners of all ages. I like to teach beginners and really, really advanced. Sometimes
Really?
the stuff in the middle doesn't excite me as much. Yeah, I love it when people are first discovering things and I can see the light bulb go off on kids,
Yeah.
above kids' heads. I mean, that's really fun for me. And I know, I think part of it is I can't imagine what my life would have been like without music.
Yeah.
Especially in my teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
Because music helps us express so many things that we can't express in words.
Sure.
And so I really enjoy sharing that with my students. And I think it's a really healthy thing for them. I think it really helps them develop their own personality
Sure.
and to find themselves and discover the world around them through music.
And to feel that they're being creative and they're learning and applying themselves and improving, things like that.
Absolutely.
It's
And
all positive, yeah.
I think so, and a lot of the things that we learn from studying music are really life skills. I mean, the discipline it takes to master even some of the simplest songs
Sure.
are really demanding, especially for a young child.
Yeah.
And learning to sort of use your time wisely. So, I mean, I have students that do have homework after school, and they have to figure out, well, when am I going to practice? Because I want to be ready for my lesson. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really great skill for a young child to develop.
That's for sure.
And a lot of the music is very ensemble based, so the kids, one child would be playing one rhythm while another child's playing another rhythm, and that's also a really advanced skill to be able to, sometimes there's as many as 4 different rhythms going on at a time.
Yeah, and that kind of teaches team participation.
And concentration, focus, and so.
How many students are usually in a class?
My maximum class is 4.
4.
And then really only my best students take private lessons. It's kind of something they see at the recitals. They see the older children, how they've mastered some of the more advanced
Yeah.
songs, and it's something for them to work towards. Although I think the classes are very beneficial for the reasons that you mentioned. A little bit of competition is a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also if a child sees another child struggling with an assignment, they think, oh, well, I'm not stupid. This is just difficult, So it keeps them going.
Yeah. It is a challenge to people, to learners of all ages, for sure. If you've had another career and then you all of a sudden have more time to play music, it's challenging.
It is. And studies continually point to how beneficial it is for the brain, especially the sort of the right brain, left brain kind of things we have to do. And
Yeah.
they start off by rote learning, meaning that they memorize a few short songs, because I want them to start playing right away.
Yeah.
I want them to have them, get the opportunity to play a song right away.
Yeah, can actually do a song. yeah.
Exactly. And then as they get some skill, then I introduce them to note reading, and we learn chords when their hands are ready, and how to read tab and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And this is another album also,
It is. It's called All Day Fun.
All Day Fun.
That was actually produced by Bubba Hernandez.
Really?
Yeah, boy, there's some amazing musicians on that one.
15 songs.
Yes. Yes, that was a labor of love. As I said, I hadn't really done any songwriting, but after my twins were born, I don't know, all these songs kind of started popping out. I didn't have much opportunity to practice anymore, and up till then, classical guitar had kind of been my whole life.
Yeah.
But I guess it's corny, but when one door closes, I guess another one really does open, because
Well, you had studied music for so long, and then all of a sudden you had this creative surge.
it was a different expression. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I noticed you said that you're reluctant sometimes to do cover songs. When people study so deeply into classical music, they feel like
I've gotten in a lot of trouble for saying that. If it's a cover song I really like, I just can't imagine it doing better than the original artist.
Yeah.
You know, that seems so iconic, sort of. I guess I just haven't found. I don't think I'm a strong enough singer, maybe, to really offer something new to a great recording.
Well, I think a lot of people think about that too. When you hear a record and it sounds so good, you think it's gonna, you know, what can we do with this to top that? But sometimes it's just the production too that sounds so good. You
Absolutely.
know?
Don't get me wrong. I sing covers in the shower all the time. But to record them, I don't know. Someday maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's such a treat to be able to record my own songs. And I know nobody else is ever going to record them, so.
And you go out and play at the senior centers and special care facilities.
I do.
What you call informances.
Informants, it's a performance, but sometimes I talk to the audience, particularly if I'm playing an instrument that they may not be familiar with. I do sometimes bring historical instruments in there, instruments that were built in the 16th and 17th, 18th.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's just fun.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
It's interesting, and I tell them a little bit about the time period and about the songs, if they seem to be responding to it, which they primarily, most of the time they do.
Yeah.
I guess that's one thing I really love about classical guitar or classical music is it sort of is like time travel, and I've always been obsessed with time travel. But when you play a song that was written in 1350 or something, it's easy to feel that you're traveling back to that time period.
Yeah, you're back at that time of the history, yeah.
Yeah, and so I just like to share some of those things with the audience members.
And so many people had such interesting lives, as though tragic, I guess, like Mozart and Beethoven, and just the things they had to go through at the personal level.
That's so true, and I think in general, well, with all the arts, but certainly with music, we take it very much for granted because prior to electricity, you know, if you wanted to hear music, you either learned how to play an instrument or you paid somebody to play for you. Now we can switch it on with a radio, CD, whatever. It's in our car, it's in all the stores, it's everywhere we go.
And they just had to write all of that out, note per note, just long scores and
Yes.
no recordings. You never have a CD, you never have a recording of your works that you've put together.
Nope. And that's a good point. I mean, imagine writing a 30-minute symphony for 40 players.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is a lot of just...
That's like a year's work at least, or, you know.
Yeah, and you didn't have erasers.
Yeah.
You're going to have computers, you're going to have Finale or all these great music software programs that we have today. So the times they are changing.
Well, I really do appreciate you coming down today, and we're going to have you back and play some music for us. And
Great.
thank you all so much for watching, and please stay tuned and check out Polly Maynard.
Thank you. This is a piece by Agustin Barrios Mongaray, who was from Paraguay, and it's called Danza Guarani, which the Guarani were the name of his tribe. He was an Indian. Next, I'd like to play a piece by Francisco Tárrega, and it's entitled La Cajita de Música, which means the music box. Next, I'd like to play two songs from Ireland. The first one is entitled Napoleon Crossing the Rhine. It's a bit odd to have an Irish song about a French general crossing a German river, but the Irish folks were crazy about Bonaparte, and they were sure that he was going to free them from the tyranny of their British oppressors. The second tune is entitled The Swallowtail Reel, and it's just a fiddle tune. Next, I'd like to play Ashokan Farewell by Jay Unger. It's the theme song from the Ken Burns series on the Civil War. And Jay Unger is such a good composer that he was really able to capture the sound of the music from the Civil War period. And in fact, many people think it was really written during the Civil War period, but it was written only a few years ago. This is called Ashokan Farewell. Ashokan is the name of a fiddle camp that happens every summer. I'd like to travel back to about 1340 and play a song that was written entitled Guárdame las vacas, which means guard my cows. I'd like to play a song that was written about 1675 by a Spanish guitarist, Gaspar Sanz, and it's entitled Canarios. So it's a song about the Canary Islands, and it's actually a jig. We usually think that a jig just comes from Ireland, but it was so popular that it swept all across the continent of Europe, all the way down to Spain. And so this is sort of a Baroque guitar jig. This next song is entitled McPherson's Lament. It has a story that goes along with it. It was written by a fiddle player named McPherson, who was also quite well known as a thief, and he finally got caught. According to the legend, from the window in his jail cell, he could see them putting up the gallows for him. His last night on this earth, he wrote this beautiful, beautiful song, and his last request was that he be allowed to play it. So they brought a fiddle to him. He played it, then he smashed it on the ground, and then they hanged him. This is McPherson's Lament. thank you so much. Going to end up with a little ersatz flamenco tune. Just a traditional faruca, which is a kind of a flamenco dance.
Follow your dreams. And they say, do what you want, and money will come. Lots of people